Hello and welcome to the first day of taking notes for Algebra 2. You should have placed your Algebra 2 packet in the tray below. So the way we take notes in this class is we first open to our table of contents, and on line 1, please write your objective, understanding real numbers and operations. Then you can write today's date, which is 9/2. There we go, 9/2. After you write that in your table of contents, please turn to page 1, and in the margin of page 1, please write the objective again, understanding real numbers and operations. So today we're going to talk about the different types of real numbers. And there are two types that numbers are divided into, real numbers and imaginary numbers. Real numbers are any positive or negative number, and that also includes 0. There are two types of real numbers, rational and irrational. A rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. With rational numbers, there are three main types that we're going to focus on in this class: integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. An integer is any positive and negative whole number. An example, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. A whole number starts with 0 and are your positive numbers. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Natural number, on the other hand, are your positive whole numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The way I remember that whole numbers start with 0 is the word whole has an O in it, and 0 looks like an O. So I told you real numbers are divided into two categories, rational and irrational. So an irrational number is a number that can't be written as a fraction. It's a decimal that does not repeat and goes on forever. Real numbers and imaginary numbers are opposites of each other. So an imaginary number is like the square root of a negative number. In this class, we denote an imaginary number with the letter I. One irrational number that we know of is pi. Another one is a square root of a number that we do not know, or doesn't have a whole number square root, such as the square root of 3. Next thing we're going to do is order these from lowest to highest. And the way we do that is we actually find the smallest negative number, which is -50. Then we do -48, -40, -34, and -32. Now ask yourself, which of the numbers is below -40? Well, there's only two numbers here that are below -40, and that is -50 and -48. This is a type of question you will see on the SATs. There's usually one question that looks like this every year on that test. So that should help you when you take that standardized test. Now we're going to talk about our different mathematical properties. These are properties that we've gone over for several different years. A lot of students remember your commutative property because it's reversing two numbers, such as 3 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus 3. With multiplication, on the other hand, all we're doing is the exact same thing with the multiplication sign in between. The way I remember this is commuting to work. It is the same distance for me to go from my house to Carn City as it is for me to go from Carn City to my house. The associative property has three numbers that are identified with it. Let's get that last number. There we go. The only difference here is my parentheses have moved. Same thing with multiplication. Identity. When I hear the word identity, I like to think of looking in a mirror. When I look in the mirror, I see myself. So what number can I add, let's say the number 6 to, and still get the number 6 out? 0. So the identity number for addition is 0. for multiplication, it is the number 1. So now let's discuss inverse. Inverse is what numbers can I put together to get my identity number back. So for addition, I need opposite numbers, like 8 and -8. Whereas for multiplication, I need inverse numbers, 8 and 1/8. And our distributive property uses two operations, usually multiplication, and then either addition or subtraction. What we do is we distribute the 3 to both the 2 and to the 7 to get the correct answer. Go ahead and take a second and figure out your answer to letter A here. If you gave the answer 910, you were very close, but you also need feet to be added with that. Make sure you always label in this class. And our final problem of the day is actually getting us to think about how do I show my work in this class. So quotient. When we think of the word quotient, we should be thinking of the word divide. So the way I'm going to show work here is I'm actually going to show 3 divided by, and I believe we have that over here, divided by, and then 1/7. That way I can see what you're thinking. If you put the symbol divide, then I know you understand quotient means divide. The way we divide with fractions is we multiply by the reciprocal, which means we flip that second number. So we're going to have 3 times 7, which in this case is 21. Well, that concludes our lesson. And so, on our essential work paper, here are the problems that we're going to do. Please make sure you do put your name in the top right-hand corner. Then underneath there, period, whatever class you're in. And then here's our assignment. Notice 34 to 38, you do need to do all. I will be picking one of these problems at random when you're in class and grading that one for correctness. Please remember you should have received an answer key. If you need one, please stop by. Thank you.